Does your self-confidence feel like a sandcastle crumbling with every challenge? There's a reason for that, and it starts with the promises you make to yourself. Today I'm going to reveal 3 secrets inspired by Louise Hay to build an unshakable temple of trust, one that won't fall apart, but will support you from the inside out. If you're ready to stop betraying yourself and finally believe in who you are, stick with me. This journey will change how you see yourself. Forever. If every act of self-love is a building block, then inner trust is the sacred temple constructed from those blocks. And no temple stands strong without a foundation built on the bedrock of self-respect and self-honor. Keeping your promises to yourself may seem simple, but it is the foundational practice where you lay the cornerstone for a reliable relationship with yourself. A deeper self-love that doesn't waver when life gets challenging. Secret number 1. Honor your sacred agreements with yourself. Louise Hay taught us that the relationship we have with ourselves sets the tone for every other relationship in our lives. When we consistently break promises to ourselves, we're teaching our subconscious mind that we're not worthy of our own respect and love. I am worthy of keeping my promises to myself. Imagine you're climbing a mountain of self-discovery. Each step toward the summit is a small commitment you honor. Waking up with gratitude, nourishing your body with love, speaking to yourself with kindness. These steps might be quiet, without applause or recognition from others. But it's this sacred practice that builds an unshakable foundation of self-trust. Honoring your word to yourself doesn't just create discipline, it creates identity. It transforms you from someone who hopes to love herself into someone who actively demonstrates that love through her choices and actions. Let me tell you about Rebecca, a 36-year-old nurse from Seattle. For years, Rebecca would set intentions to take better care of herself, eating nourishing foods, getting enough sleep, practicing meditation. But she'd consistently abandon these promises when life got busy or stressful. Each broken promise was like a small betrayal of herself, and over time she stopped believing she could change. When Rebecca discovered Louise Hay's work, she started small. Instead of promising to meditate for an hour, she committed to 3 minutes of loving self-talk each morning. Instead of a complete diet overhaul, she promised to drink 1 extra glass of water each day. These tiny acts of self-love began to rebuild her trust in herself. I start where I am and love myself through every step of growth. The magic wasn't in the size of the promises, but in the consistency of keeping them. Each fulfilled commitment sent a message to her subconscious. I am worth caring for. I am worth keeping promises to. I matter. So where do you start? Not with grand gestures, but with small, loving actions that honor your worth. Here's a gentle practice to begin building this sacred foundation. First practice. Choose 3 loving promises. For the next 7 days, make 3 simple promises to yourself. They must be small, specific, and achievable. For example, if you usually wake up rushed, promise to wake up 15 minutes earlier to start your day with intention. Commit to speaking 1 loving affirmation to yourself each morning. Promise to put your phone away 30 minutes before bed and spend that time in quiet reflection. Write these promises down and place them where you'll see them daily. This transforms vague intentions into sacred commitments. Second practice. Celebrate each victory. When you honor each promise, take a moment to acknowledge it. Feel the beautiful sensation of, I did what I said I would do with love. This feeling is what rebuilds trust between your conscious and subconscious mind. Third practice. Practice self-compassion. If you miss a day, don't punish yourself. Return to love immediately. Self-trust isn't built on perfection, but on the willingness to keep choosing love, even after you've stumbled. I treat myself with infinite patience and compassion. After 7 days, you can deepen these practices or add new ones. The key is consistency, not intensity. You're teaching yourself that you're worthy of love through your actions, not just your thoughts. Secret number 2, awakening your inner wisdom. Once you've begun building trust through loving actions, you'll notice something beautiful happening. A deeper wisdom begins to emerge. Your intuition, that sacred inner voice that Louise Hay called our connection to infinite intelligence. Louise taught us that we all have access to divine guidance, but we've been conditioned to look outside ourselves for answers. We've forgotten how to listen to the wisdom that speaks through our hearts, our bodies, our deepest knowing. I trust the divine wisdom that flows through me. Your intuition doesn't speak in the language of logic or analysis. It communicates through feelings, sensations, and that quiet inner knowing that whispers truth when you're still enough to listen. The challenge is that we've been taught to prioritize external opinions over internal wisdom. But intuition, like any relationship, grows stronger when you honor it. The more you listen to your inner voice and act on its guidance, the clearer and more trustworthy it becomes. Here's how to begin reconnecting with your sacred inner wisdom. Daily intuition. Practice. Each morning, before checking your phone or diving into your day, sit quietly for 5 minutes. Place your hand on your heart and ask, "What does my soul need today?" Don't think about the answer. Feel for it. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's creative expression. Maybe it's connection with nature. Honor whatever arises. Body wisdom check-in. Before making decisions, especially important ones, pause and tune into your body. Ask yourself, how does this choice feel in my body? If you feel expansion, lightness, or warmth, it's likely aligned with your truth. If you feel contraction, heaviness, or tension, your body is giving you valuable information. I honor the wisdom of my body and heart. Louise Hay understood that our bodies are constantly communicating with us, offering guidance about what serves our highest good and what doesn't. Learning to listen to these subtle messages is like developing a superpower that guides you toward choices that truly nourish your soul. Secret number 3. Creating sacred boundaries. As you begin trusting yourself more deeply and listening to your inner wisdom, something inevitable happens. You start noticing what depletes your energy and what nourishes it. You become aware of relationships, situations, and patterns that don't serve your highest good. This is when boundaries become not just helpful, but essential. Louise Hay taught us that boundaries aren't walls we build to keep others out. They're loving acts of self-care that protect the sacred space we're creating within ourselves. I protect my energy with love and wisdom. Think of yourself as the guardian of a sacred garden. This garden contains your dreams, your peace, your joy, and your growing self-love. If you allow anyone to enter and trample the flowers you've been carefully tending, you're not being loving. You're being neglectful of the precious growth happening within you. Setting boundaries isn't about being mean or selfish. It's about honoring the sacred work you're doing to heal and love yourself. It's about protecting the energy you need for your own growth and transformation. Many women struggle with boundaries because they were taught that their worth comes from pleasing others, from being nice, from never causing discomfort. But Louise Hay showed us that true love sometimes requires us to say no, to step back, to choose our own well-being. Boundary practice. 1. Identify energy drains. Notice 3 situations or relationships that consistently leave you feeling depleted. Write them down without judgment. 2. Start small. Choose one small boundary you can practice this week. Maybe it's not answering work emails after 7 p.m. or saying, "Let me think about it," instead of automatically saying yes to requests. 3. Use loving language. When setting boundaries, speak from love rather than anger. "I need some quiet time to recharge" is more effective than "you're being too demanding." I set boundaries from a place of love for myself and others. Remember, every time you honor a boundary, you're sending a message to yourself and others that you matter, that your well-being is important, that you're worthy of respect and care. The ripple effect of self-love, how your inner light transforms the world. When you begin to truly love and trust yourself, something magical happens that extends far beyond your personal transformation. The love you've cultivated within yourself begins to radiate outward, touching everyone you encounter in the most beautiful way. Louise Hay understood that when we heal ourselves, we heal the world, not through preaching or trying to fix others, but simply by embodying the love and acceptance we've learned to give ourselves. My self-love creates ripples of healing in the world. A woman who has learned to love herself unconditionally becomes like a tuning fork, vibrating at the frequency of love and acceptance. When others come into her presence, they begin to resonate with that same frequency, not because she's trying to change them, but because she's created a safe space where they can remember their own worth. Think about how you feel around someone who truly loves and accepts themselves. There's no judgment in their presence, no need to perform or pretend. You can breathe more deeply, speak more honestly, be more authentically yourself. This is the gift that self-love offers, not just to you, but to everyone whose life you touch. Let me share the story of Grace, a 41-year-old teacher from Portland. For years, Grace struggled with perfectionism and people-pleasing. She exhausted herself trying to be everything to everyone, never feeling like she was enough. When she discovered Louise Hay's teachings and began practicing radical self-love, everything changed. Grace didn't announce her transformation or try to teach others what she'd learned. She simply began treating herself with the same kindness she'd always shown her students. She started honoring her needs, speaking to herself with love, and setting gentle boundaries. I am a beacon of love and acceptance for others. The change was subtle but profound. Her students began opening up to her more, sharing their struggles and fears. Her colleagues started seeking her out for advice and support. Her family noticed that she seemed more peaceful, more present, more genuinely happy. Grace hadn't changed her behavior toward others. She'd changed her relationship with herself. And that inner transformation created a ripple effect that touched everyone around her. This is the power of authentic self-love. When you stop abandoning yourself, others feel safe not to abandon themselves in your presence. When you embrace your imperfections with love, others feel permission to be imperfect too. When you trust your own worth, others begin to remember theirs. The love I give myself gives others permission to love themselves. Louise Hay taught us that we teach others how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. When you speak to yourself with kindness, others learn to speak to you with kindness. When you honor your boundaries, others learn to respect them. When you refuse to settle for less than love, you inspire others to raise their standards too. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this ripple effect is how it impacts other women. In a world that often pits women against each other, a woman who truly loves herself becomes a healing presence for her sisters. She doesn't compete because she knows there's enough love and success for everyone. She doesn't judge because she's learned to accept all parts of herself. I celebrate other women's success as a reflection of what's possible for all of us. When another woman enters the presence of someone who has learned to love herself unconditionally, something awakens within her. She begins to remember that she too is worthy of love, respect, and all the beautiful things life has to offer. She starts to question the critical voice in her head and wonder what would happen if she chose love instead. This is how we heal the world. One woman at a time, one act of self-love at a time, one choice to treat ourselves with kindness at a time. We become living examples of what's possible when we choose love over fear, acceptance over criticism, trust over doubt. The respect and love you receive from others when you truly love yourself isn't based on fear or manipulation. It comes from the recognition that you found something precious, a way of being that others long for in their own lives. You become a lighthouse, showing others that it's possible to navigate life's storms while staying connected to love. I am a living example of the power of self-love, and perhaps most importantly, you discover that self-love isn't a destination you reach, but a relationship you nurture every single day. It's learning to stay with yourself through all of life's ups and downs, treating yourself with the same compassion you'd offer your dearest friend. A woman who loves herself isn't someone who never feels fear or doubt. She simply doesn't let those feelings drive her choices. She feels them, acknowledges them with love, and then chooses to act from her highest truth anyway. She doesn't seek validation from others because her own love and approval are enough. Her presence becomes the answer to the question every woman is asking: am I worthy of love? And through her example, she whispers to every woman she meets, yes, you are. You always have been. You always will be. I am worthy of infinite love, and so is every woman I meet. Thank you for sharing this sacred space with us. If you found value in this video, please like it and subscribe to help us spread more light. This is the sacred journey Louise Hay mapped out for us. The path from self-criticism to self-love, from doubt to trust, from fear to faith in our own divine worth. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because when you learn to love yourself unconditionally, you don't just transform your own life, you become part of the healing of the world. So, as we wrap up our journey today, I hope you're feeling the powerful truth. The most sacred relationship you will ever have is with yourself. We've revisited Louise Hay's teachings to uncover 3 essential pillars. First, we learned that honoring your small promises to yourself is the bedrock upon which you build unshakable self-trust. Remember, Rebecca? Small actions, big transformations. Next, we delved into awakening your inner wisdom, that divine intuition that speaks through your body and heart, guiding you to what truly serves you. And last, but certainly not least, we explored how creating sacred boundaries isn't an act of selfishness but of self-love, protecting your energy and your well-being. Each of these steps, every promise kept, every intuition heard, every boundary set, is a building block in constructing your inner temple. And as we saw with Grace, when you uplift yourself, when you truly love yourself, you don't just transform your own life. You create a ripple effect of healing that touches and elevates everyone around you. You become a beacon of serene light in this world. Don't strive for perfection, my dear. Strive for consistency and compassion with yourself. Start small, trust the process, and allow yourself to be the woman you were born to be, worthy of all love, respect, and honor. Remember, I am worthy of infinite love, and the world is a reflection of the love I give myself. If this video touched your heart, if you felt this truth resonate, leave a heart in the comments below. Share your small promises that you'll begin to honor. And make sure to subscribe to the channel for more journeys of self-discovery and self-love. Until next time, and may your inner light shine ever brighter.